We are currently sailing southwest with a final destination of Key West, Florida. And we know that as soon as we get within a few miles of the coast, signal will return to our phones and we are going to be overrun with messages, emails, and news headlines. Our anticipation of re-entry into bustling civilization has us appreciating our last moments in the Bahamas a little more. So much so, in fact, that we somehow decide that simultaneously running low on wind and fuel is actually great news, since it means a guilt and distraction-free stopover on a real-life deserted island. Okay, I just woke up from my second sleep sesh. We have a bit of a squall right there. Where is it? Right there. We have this squall coming at us, and I'm very glad because when I woke up, we were going like 2 knots, fairly becalmed, lots of sail luffs. And now because we've got that storm behind us, we're getting a little bit of rain right now, just a sprinkle, kind of because we're on the edge, and we're also getting a significant amount of wind. Significant meaning a whole 8 knots, but we're going 4 knots. At speed now, so we are going 2 knots faster than we were a moment ago. So I'm going to, I don't know, I guess I can't stick that close to the storm because we're trying to move, so I'm just gonna hope the storm comes with us. It's a pretty small squall cloud, so if it just like stays right behind, you know, like the rain cloud that follows you around, but just like right behind us, not right on top of us, that'd be nice. That'd be ideal. It's a beautiful sunrise. The sun hasn't quite risen yet, but we have light, pre-dawn light. And I'm gonna put my book on. Over the last year, we have met a lot of other cruisers, and I've noticed this one common thread of identity that stretches between them, and it looks a lot like grit. This lifestyle takes a lot. It pushes comfort zones. And so out here you find the sort of personalities that are left after a sort of multi-step filtration process. And I might be tempted to describe them with phrases like go-getters and tryhards. I find it a bit funny then to quietly observe the juxtaposition of these busy sailors on long crossings. Because when the wind dies down and the sea state calms and the boat is functioning and the nearest land is hundreds of miles away, there is nothing left to do but sit there and realize that being as still as the ocean is perhaps the most profound lesson to learn. Winch handle it is. Yeah?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, go to sleep. With you.
Have you two tether in?
Yep, for
the
sure.
dogs?
Yeah, they're both tethered.
Okay, good night.
Good night. Just got the mainsail out because the storm is now off to our starboard side and we've got wind at 90 degrees. And so that means that we're able to have both of our sails out, both sails, 90 degrees, means we're gonna sail a lot faster. We picked up over a knot and the goal, my hope, my dear hope, because we're not gonna have a lot of wind, is that we will be able to sail fast enough right now that we can pace with the storm. The storm is moving the same direction we are. So if we can stay off the port side to the storm, like we're just port of the storm, if we can stay right here, we'll get the wind and we can just follow that storm till it fizzles out. I think it's gonna work. The storm does seem to be getting a little bit closer to me, so I'll have to keep an eye on it. At some point I'm gonna need to depower these sails. But until then, we're moving, finally. First real movement I've had since the start of my shift. That wind feels good. Glad I didn't take off my sweater. The air's still pretty crisp with dawn. There's a fish. Hey Brett, I caught a fish. think it's a mackie.
What?
I think it's a mackerel. Yeah, I think it's a mackerel.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey, look.
Oh no.
No, it's barracuda.
Is it a barracuda?
Yep.
Dang it.
Yep, definitely
Can you grab
barracuda.
the camera?
Okay.
I just caught something.
Yeah.
Now the question is, how do we get the hook out without getting bitten by a barracuda? It's okay.
Settle.
Oh, he's keeping us. Oh, he looks like a monster. Will you hand me the Leatherman pliers?
Yep.
This is really in there.
Nice.
You film? Okay. Alright, have a nice day. Good luck with your fishing. Oh, you gotta go. There you go. Swim away. You're free. He doesn't know he's free yet. There he goes.
There he goes. Bye, buddy.
Enjoy your life.
Enjoy your fishing.
He was just like so chill for a second.
Hey, congratulations. You got a
Yeah.
fish.
It was a big fish too.
That was a big fish.
A lot of the local Bahamians will... Bahamians? The locals here. The locals will eat the barracuda, but all the other sailors are like, don't eat barracuda. The risk of sig is too high. So, I don't know. I feel like if the locals, maybe they have a higher, like, tolerance. Kind of exciting.
That was exciting. Good job.
What is this one?
This moment, Bryce angled her sword higher, ready to fight until the end. Beneath, biting and first bite.
Just caught another barracuda. I think it's a barracuda. I'm gonna pull it in and we'll see. This one's bigger than the last one. We'll have a look at it for sure.
We are both awake. It's taken the better part of the day. I think it's like noon now. Maybe later. I don't know. But we're both up until nighttime now. It took us a little while to kind of recover sleep because you really don't get a whole lot of sleep if you sleep every 2 hours. But then during that 2 hours, you wake up every half hour to 45 minutes to help somebody with something or whatever, some loud noise. And so I think we're both good now. I feel super awake. Jade just woke up maybe 20 minutes ago. Took the dog's potty. They're both comfortable and happy now. And now Jade, well, a couple things. First off, there's a giant ship passing in front of us, and I know it's because I'm listening to like a sci-fi book right now, but it definitely looks like it's gonna come and like absorb us into itself, and then we'll see like the mast sticking out the top of it, and like pieces of our boat is just gonna become part of it. It's like kind of scary looking. I don't know if you can actually see that, but Jade, what are you doing?
Oh, just cleaning seaweed off the hooks. It's become my new favorite pastime.
Definitely become your main pastime.
It's the only way I'm passing time, really.
Ah,
I'm actually counting the seaweed as a way of counting distance.
yeah. Instead of doing knots, you're doing seaweed clumps.
Yeah.
It's better. It's not the most precise or uniform.
No, I want to know if I can eat this.
Is this edible? I mean, you probably could eat it, but how sick would it make you?
Can I blend this up into a paste and roll it out and then dehydrate it and then make sushi wraps?
You gotta get your tuna first.
I have yet to tell them about the tuna.
Oh, tell us the tuna incident. I was unconscious.
I was sleeping. I had just caught and released the 2 barracuda, and like just a few minutes afterwards, I grabbed the camera and I start recording.
Hang on. Okay, what was that?
Let me set the scene. I have 6 lines in the water. I have just caught and released 2 decently sized barracuda and have been anxiously and diligently spending time making sure that none of the hooks have seaweed on them, because I wanted to make sure as we went off the drop off we could catch a fish, because where the drop off is where all the good fish are, right? We're going past the drop off and I hear a splash and I look behind me and guess what I see? A giant tuna. It was a giant tuna. I mean, I don't know how big it was. It was probably like this big. It was actually probably like, it was bigger than the barracuda. And it was big and it was sparkly. And well, sparkly is the wrong word, but it was colorful. And it jumped out of the water and I was gonna reel it in and I was gonna make poke bowls and I could already taste it. And then the hook broke.
The hook actually
the hook broke. It wasn't that the lure came off. It wasn't that my knot didn't hold. The actual hook snapped. And the fish was gone.
Apparently this is the fan favorite, so I rebent this and I'll see if I can maybe file that sharp. I don't really need it, but I'll do it anyway.
So we still have a hook.
So we can reuse this guy. Limited resources right now, you know?
Oh, that's good. Good way to live.
Yeah. Hook is all bent and sharpened. Now it's time to go fishing.
I may not have grown up fishing, but I did grow up managing a really hot climate. So right now, I'm using some skills from that childhood, and I'm making an evaporative cooling system. Basically, I'm going to hang up the sheet, and then we'll spray it down with water. And as the wind comes through and pushes on it, it will cool down the area in the cockpit. It's going to drop the temperature tremendously. It is way too hot today.
It is a warm day for sure.
It's really warm. And there's not a lot of wind, so we've got to, what's the word?
Mitigate.
No, not mitigate. You've got to like work with what you've got.
Capitalize. Utilize.
Whatever.
Master.
Here you have it. It's all hung up. It kind of looks like a cheap DIY photography backdrop. Like I could do a portrait right now. And the question that really matters is, will this work? Will this drop the temperature? Evaporative cooling is super effective in dry heat. When it's dry, you bring some moisture into the air, it evaporates, it cools it down really well. When it's humid, evaporative cooling doesn't work nearly as well. So I don't know exactly how this is going to go. Because as you can probably imagine, based on our scenery, it's humid. The water's in the air too. It's worth a shot though, so I'm gonna spray it down now. Ooh. Well, if nothing else, it provided a nice shady spot. I will now sit here and feel the temperature and let you know. Ooh, I think it might already be working. Once Brett gets out of the bathroom, I'll have him give his opinion. Come see the cool thing I did.
Wow. That's such a cool thing you did.
Hopefully it's actually cool. Have a sit. What do you think?
Wow, this is so cool.
Thanks, babe.
Woo! It's cold.
Do you think it'll work?
It's gotta help.
I feel like it should, but I mean it's humid and evaporative cooling is more effective in dry heat. But that doesn't mean it's not effective in humidity.
Cool.
Are you recording?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you touch it, you can actually feel how cold it is. It's like actually cold. And so when it blows and hits my back, I'm like, but it's refreshing. And that drop in temperature is going to kind of pull the energy out of the whole space. And maybe we'll feel a little more energetic then.
I was like, is that why I feel lazier? Pull the energy out of the space.
All the joules.
It's kind of a funny backdrop. It makes you look really little. Like you look like a small human. Because you are a small human.
I mean, yeah, I am. So it just tells it how it is. It's like a truth.
So how'd you wet it? How'd you get it wet?
I used the stern shower. I decided to use fresh water to wet it because we are already so salty and like
That's a good call. Yeah.
so I thought that having some fresh water would be a little nice. At least it wouldn't add to the saltiness on our skin
Smart.
because we're both feeling the need for a shower today.
Yeah, I think today's Sunday.
Deep clean.
Deep clean Sunday.
Deep
Self-care
clean
Sunday.
Yeah. On Sundays we deep clean the boat and like, you know, clip our fingernails and those kinds of things.
So today we're gonna shower. We're gonna trim the dog's nails.
And clean out the cockpit.
Clean the cockpit again.
Yeah.
We brushed them yesterday. They could probably use another brushing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a nice day.
It is a nice day.
We have just enough wind that we're still moving.
This is when you film me going overboard.
Yep.
Is that why you have the camera out?
Yep.
I could probably swim faster than the boat right now.
You
though.
probably could actually. Should we go for a swim?
Swimming would be nice. Maybe we would need to, like a joint or something.
You just lash it to the rigging.
What?
You just lash it to the rigging.
Yeah, it does have quite a bit of force on it. Though. I need to stand right here.
That works.
I'm just gonna keep the sail open so we can sail faster.
Good job.
I mean, it's kind of working.
Good girl. No. Good girl, honey. So I'm getting a little short. Move on, okay? I'll do a different one.
You say you don't wanna get in trouble, that you're doing fine cause you got me. I don't wanna break your little bubble, but you gotta wake up to reality. Cause I can see in your eyes, your head is full of dreams. Tears are a proof of failure, you just gotta let them flow without judge. Will you still be happy? You can do whatever you like, you don't have to be ready. You just gotta trust.
Is it refreshing?
It's really refreshing. Oh, this is nice.
Just don't let go. You get left behind real quick. What's that, two
Not
and a
real
half
quick,
knots?
only 2 knots.
Well, yeah, but it seems fast. Dingo howls and Petty does does something that's called ruing. It's a greyhound thing. It's not howling, it's not baying. It's like, I'll
It's
show you.
ruing.
Penny!
Ow!
Penny!
Says nothing. I just conked out for a minute on the bench out here, and while I was gone, Jade made chili. Guess I wasn't gone.
I'm glad you didn't leave.
It smells really good. I haven't tried it yet. It's really hot. It's like boiling.
I've never made chili before, and I didn't have a recipe, so I just kind of made it up. But it looks right.
It does. Smells right. Looks
It's like
right.
a Halloween chili cook-off. Chili. So it makes me think of.
Tastes good?
It tastes like I should have made cornbread.
Okay. The night shifts. Whoa, I didn't mean to fall over. The night shifts have begun. I just tucked Jade into bed. She's in there on the bed with the two dogs. I went and cuddled her for a minute and tucked her in. And we kind of learned last night. We did 2-hour shifts and then we did 3-hour shifts. I think we both decided we prefer the 3-hour. Both for sleeping and for being awake, because it takes a little while to fall asleep and then it takes a little while to wake up. And so we gave ourselves both a half hour. So for example, tonight we're gonna do 3 hours. So it's 10 o'clock right now. So I'll wake her up at 1 o'clock. Her alarm will go off at 1 o'clock as well. And then we'll both hang out until 1:30. That'll give me half an hour to kind of wind down, kind of pass controls, tell her anything that went on, etc., etc. And gives her half an hour to wake up if she wants to drink some coffee or some tea, to get some caffeine in her blood, to kind of wake up a little bit. It gives her half an hour, and then I'll go to sleep at 1:30. 3 hours later, rinse and repeat. What was happening with the 2-hour shifts, we were still doing the 30-minute overlap, but it'd take you a little bit to fall asleep, so then you'd fall asleep, and then for that first hour that you're on shift, that you're awake, it takes you 30 minutes to an hour to kind of get all the way woken up. And so then by the time, if you do the 2-hour shift, by the time you're actually up and functioning all the way and you're wide awake, it's almost time to be done. So we both prefer the 3 hours, so we'll do that one again tonight, with the caveat being that if I'm hurting, I can't keep my eyes open or whatever reason, then we can adjust as necessary. But yeah, we did 2 hours and 3 hours last night. Hi.
I was just checking.
Are you checking to make sure I'm wearing a life jacket?
No. Are you?
Yeah.
Cool. I just heard weird clicking sounds, so I was wondering if you were like reading.
Oh, I'm just talking to the camera.
Cool. Tell everybody I say hi.
Jay says hi. Go to sleep. Love you.
Close your eyes, get out of your skin. Only this matters, let it in. If I could, I would be right here with you. This world of ticking clocks, I hope I'm getting through.
Okay, we're kind of in an interesting spot right now. Where we are is going from 1,000 feet to about 70 feet. And then just to our port side, there's actually a tiny, tiny little island. So it goes to 0. And just a second ago, a fish jumped out of the water right by the lure. So I'm guessing it was going for the lure and missed, is my guess. Not really sure. Yeah, I was sitting here listening to music, and all of a sudden I heard a huge splash, and I looked back, and there's a fish like flopped. So we only have 2 lures in the water right now. Jade's still asleep. We pulled in, I think we had 5 or 6 lines in the water. I didn't want to have to deal with that many, so I said let's just put 2 out. So we put our 2 that we think are probably like the most likely to catch something. So we have 2 out, and I am very hopeful right now. I would love to catch something. Hopefully not barracuda. Jade got 2 barracuda today. I don't want a barracuda. Not barracuda. Well, it is 1 in the morning. It is now my turn to sleep. Thank goodness I am getting so tired. I'm not sure if Jade set an alarm or not, but I'll go wake her up, hang out for a little bit, and then I'm tucking into bed. See ya in a few hours. Wow, it is a hot day today, and there is no wind. There is 3.5 knots right now, and we're doing 2. We're moving, and we're going the right direction. We have steerage, so, I mean, we're not in a hurry to get there. Might as well just keep kind of dinking along. Conditions are beautiful. I might jump in the water and go for a very slow tow here in a second because I'm hot. But we are coming up on some little islands. Little itty bitty islands. You probably can't see them. There's 6 islands right there. And they're just tiny little things. In a minute, we're going to get to... in a minute. It's probably going to be tonight. It's only a couple miles away. I think we're going to go to a set of islands up here and probably anchor. And maybe paddle. Memory card was full. I don't know where it stopped. There's some tiny little islands over there, and then there's some right in front of us as well that I think we're going to probably anchor just on the other side of, and maybe a paddleboard in and go hang out for a little while. Let the dogs run around and such. Not because we need to, but because we can. And we're not in a hurry to get to Key West. Not in really a hurry at all. So we're just enjoying it. It's been a beautiful passage so far. I don't expect anything to change. The weather's going to stay pretty much like this for the next week. So we'll just keep slowly puttering along as long as we can before we have to turn on the engine. Hopefully we don't ever have to. Oh, I don't think we ever showed you this. Jade rigged up a kind of a makeshift whisker pole. Not ideal to be going off the rigging like that, but it's such light winds that really all it's doing is just holding out. I mean, it's not really putting any weight. It's not deflecting that at all. So, not a big deal, but it does help. It makes it more comfortable. It makes the sail flap less. I don't know that it gives us any more speed, but it's nice.
Welcome to day 3. It's day 3, right?
I don't know. It depends how you count.
We have top speed 6 knots of wind today. Somewhere between 4 and 6 is what we've got. We're moving at a pretty consistent 2 knots. And that's just enough that the boat's fairly stable, but slow enough that it kind of feels like we actually aren't moving at all. So we talked this morning, we're like, we could turn on the engine. We have enough fuel at this point that we could motor the rest of the way. It's a little over 100 nautical miles. But if we did that, we would have to break into our spare fuel reserves, which are not plumbed, wired, hosed. Plumbed? Right now our spare tank is just an isolated section. And even though it wouldn't be hard to do it, we really did just want to sail the whole way. Like, we prefer to be out here sailing, not vibrating around on the ocean, which is how I feel like it goes when we motor. But it's making it really hard for me to vlog. He just keeps making fun of everything I say with his eyes. He's not even saying anything. I know he's making fun of me. See, you're making fun of that too. Okay, anyway, it's day 3. We're going very slow. We decided not to motor. We're just gonna go slow and continue to go slow and go slow some more until we get there. And
Price is right for it.
the price is right. Yes, fuels. We could use our tank and we could use our fuel, but fuel's pricey and wind is free, and not necessarily abundant at the moment. But you know, there's some available. It's not scarce yet. Yep, so we're moving about 2 knots, and we are going to spend this morning picking up the boat. Just because it's so calm, There's nothing around. There's nothing we could hit.
There's islands.
There are some islands around right now, yeah. Anyway, yeah, we're gonna clean. I'm gonna do some laundry. Brett's doing dishes currently while he makes fun of me.
Multitasking.
Yeah. Nice. We're finally really moving, you guys.
Flying.
We're going 3 knots.
3.5.
3.5?
3.5.
Nice.
That 0.5 is something.
We got a little bit of wind.
Yeah, we're moving. We're doing 3.6. Pretty good. But yeah, there is a current. And so we're like, we can see an island straight in front of us, but when we look at the chart, it shows that we're going to go pretty far behind it. And like, my mind is having a hard time comprehending that we're not going to just run into it because we're drifting sideways while going forward. We're going sideways, I think, just as fast as we're going forward. Actually, maybe faster sideways. So, pretty funny. Also, we are trying desperately to catch fish. We saw a fish just a second ago, and it came up and looked at like each of the lures and was like, nah, not my flavor, and didn't bite it. We're 4.5 knots. Hold on.
I was starting to wonder if there were fish in the oceans. Now we know.
Okay, I don't know if you can see it. There's a shark.
Oh, where'd it go? You see it?
It's right there.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, there
It's
he
coming
is.
back.
Checking out all of our lures. I'm really hoping he doesn't go for one. I don't want to have to deal with a shark. It's decent size for a reef. We've also had a bunch of ocean triggerfish checking out all of our lures. They also didn't take anything, which is good. Maybe the shark just sees one of us.
What?
'Cause we're a big fish.
Oh, the boat?
Yeah.
Just falling in with its pack?
Yep.
Walk. Fish on!
Fish on.
Good girl, Penny. Stay put. No, Dingo, you stay put too. Come back. I can't tell what it is yet. Both dogs are together. Ooh, is it a tuna?
No.
Is it a barracuda? Damn it! Are you sure?
Yeah.
Maybe we should just take that lure out of the water. Do you think he'll ever catch anything other than barracuda?
I don't know.
Nice. Good job.
Stay away.
I don't want you. Good job. You guys did good. You guys did good. Not great. Passing grade.
Barely. We decided that we want to get to, we're going to Elbow Cay, and we can see it. It's like 10 miles away, and we want to get there before it gets dark because it's going to be really rocky and coral heady and everything. So we want to get there so we can anchor in sand before it gets dark. It's almost 4 o'clock. So rather than sailing for the next 5 hours, we're going to motor for 1 and get there.
And as soon as we turn the engine on.
Oh yeah, and as soon as I put it in gear, we accelerated up to like 4 knots and boom, barracuda.
All right, let's boom a mahi now.
Yes.
We're not quite deep enough for a mahi.
No.
We're almost there though.
Hopefully that barracuda learned his lesson. None of our lures are working, so we're using Paige toes.
Gonna catch a shark.
Oh, check out this water. It's so calm that you can actually see down straight through it and see the bottom in like 100 feet of water. There's no sailing in this right now. There's no wind. Like, zero. It's beautiful though. Dingo has spotted land and has told us multiple times, repeatedly, that he would like to go.
Dingo, do you want to go to the beach?
It looks like a cupcake.